Welcome. In this video we will explain how the website of Cyclefit.nl works. After we've logged in, we will arrive at this screen. It might look a little bit different on your side. You will miss a few icons because here's also some icons for the administration function in there. There's different steps, but mostly we'll go to new measurement because we want to generate a new report. After that, we have a few options. We can either choose an existing client if we've measured that person before. For example, if we have done already a road measurement, he comes back for the mountain bike. New client, if it's a new client, or a quick start. What does the quick start mean? If we don't need to save customers' addresses, emails in this system, since we save it somewhere else, we can go for the quick start. I will go for the quick start here because it saves some time. In the quick start you need to select male or female because that influences the outcome of the calculation. I'll go for male here. The next step is select the type of measurement you're going to fulfill. Usually it's the classic measurement, that's the classic road race mountain bike calculation. Basic is really a basic measurement for more typical Dutch bikes. The cleat is just for the adjustment of the cleat. The frame finder is a different type of measurements where you basically compare sizes of current bikes with new bikes without measuring the person. There is a different video instruction for that. If you go to the classic measurement, we arrive at the input menu. What do we need to put in? We need to put in the type of bike the person is riding. Road race, time trial, triathlon, the different mountain bike categories and wheel sizes. I'll select race here. Then the category, that's the type of rider. Beginner is basically somebody who has not sit on a road bike or a mountain bike before. There it's safety first. We lower the seat a little bit, put the position really upright. I would say from a biomechanical point of view it's not the right position, but like I said, safety first. Recreational and professional are the two most used ones. What is the difference? Professional is a little bit lower and longer, so a little bit more aggressive position. Recreational is a little bit more upright position. Both are not extreme positions. So recreational is not extremely upright and professional is not made for the most flexible, most aggressive position. You will always find customers that can even go lower or longer, and in recreational you will always find customers that need an even more upright position. After that we fill in the dimensions we've measured, so inseam length, upper leg, torso, arm length, shoulder width, shoe left and shoe right. The shoe is the only, or the foot is the only measurement we put in on both sides because it's relatively easy to measure differences. The differences are only taken into account by the recommendation you get about the cleat. We can also fill in the rotation of the foot if you have those 4-foot devices, which for example company like BikeFit makes, Specialized has them as well. You can fill in that angle to see if there's need for extra stability in the shoe, which is more the advanced measurement, and you have to think if you want to do that in a basic measurement. But that's something up to you to determine. The default is no. After that we select the components that influence the position. A saddle does clearly influence the position. Here it's all about the length of the saddle. Since we measure dimensions from the tip of the saddle, if we have a shorter saddle, the distance increases without changing the position. So we need some information on the saddle. You can either select the saddle out of our database, or you can enter manually and fill in the saddle length. Crank options, since there is not a clear answer to the question what length somebody should need, there's a few options there. You can leave the default on, which most of us do. There the advice will give you 170, 172.5 or 175 millimeter cranks. You can also put in fixed, where you need to put in the crank length, because we need the crank length to calculate seat height and stuff like that. Or you can do calculate optimal, where the range of outcomes is a little bit wider. Then 176, 165 can be the outcome, or 180 if you have a really toe post. I'll put in the limited variable. Pedals also influence the position because the stack height of pedals differs. That's why you have to select the pedaling system. For speed plate, they're all mentioned twice because there is a difference in the way the cleats are mounted. If you have the speed plate specific sole, we call it 4H from 4 holes. The stack height is a lot lower, so your saddle needs to drop a little. That's why they're double in there. I'll select Shimano SPDSO. Handlebar, since hands on the hoods of the brake levers is one of the most preferred positions. The reach of the handlebar influences the position. If you have a compact handlebar, your levers come closer than if you have a really long handlebar with a lot of reach. That's why you need to select the handlebar or enter manually reach and drop out the handlebar, or leave the default on, which is a standard road bar. The more detailed information you give the system, the better your result will be, obviously. The same with the shifters. Default is Shimano. The company ones are a little bit shorter, so you need a little bit longer stem for the same position. That's why you need to select those here. After I've done that, I can put next and I'm finished. I'll get saddle height, setback, frame height, frame length, all the dimensions. Usually frame height and frame length you can basically only adjust one. A certain frame has a certain value between length and height, which you not always know on forehand. So what we've done, we created, I would say, the biggest database in the world with frame geometries, and if you put here yes, you can select a brand. Let's do the Rosa. Select the type of bike. You can do another one to compare, or if a customer is interested in more than one type of bike, you can do 5 at once. And what will happen then in the report, and we'll show it you a little bit later, the report will calculate what stem length is needed to generate the position as we've calculated. Here we can put a command rule, which is nice if you use the quick start to put the name or something like that in there. Put next, and there we are. There we have a report which shows everything we've put in. I'm not going to run over it, it's pretty self-explaining. And then it shows the advice. What do we show? Saddle height measured along the tube, but also saddle height measured straight up for people using an XI2, for example. We show frame height, frame length. Those are, I would say, old style sizing. We measure as if the top tube was flat, and we measure center, so traditional sizing. Reach and stack of the frame, recommended reach, recommended stack. There you have to take into account that in the end it's about the distance between the saddle and the handlebar. We can either recommend a short reach and a long stem, or a long stem and a short reach. So be careful by focusing too much on those last millimeters in the reach of the frame, because if you use a little bit longer stem, you can use a shorter frame. If you have a little bit shorter stem, you can use a longer frame. Setback of the saddle, measured from the tip of the saddle or from the center of the saddle, depends on what you're used to or what tools you're using. Distance saddle handlebar, the drop, the height difference between the saddle and the handlebar, crank length, handlebar width, left cleat and right cleat, where the cleat adjustment, those are really a rough indication. If you have selected a frame, you will get a little table like this, which shows for every frame you selected all available sizes. It shows the reach and the stack of the frames. Those data come from the manufacturers. They are not Cyclefit, they are not exclusive, they're just data from the manufacturers. In order to reach the position that we name here, which would say 78.1 saddle height, distance handlebar saddle 56.5, drop 8.6 millimeter, we can generate that position by putting our customer on a 59.5 DeRosa idle, mount a 117 millimeter stem, use 16 centimeters of headset spaces, and then we'll see 14 centimeters of seat post, and the center of the saddle will be 13 millimeters in front of the seat tube line. I will explain you in this little figure. What we see is stem length, which is pretty easy. The number of headset space, of the millimeters of headset space, including the cap above the bearing, the amount of seat posts visible, and how far the center of the saddle will be in front or below the line to the seat tube. With that information, we can make the right choice in terms of bike. And you see there is some differences. We can either choose a wheelier size M with a 130 stem and 77 millimeter of spacers, or an L 59, or an XL with a shorter stem 23.5. Here we see the overhang seat post, so the amount of seat post visible being negative. That's unique to this frame because it has an integrated seat post. So of course it's negative because we need to cut off some of the seat post. With the Cannondale you see a positive amount, obviously with the Drosa you also see a positive amount. But with frames with an integrated seat post, this value is a little bit, I would say, useless. And in the end we make a stack and a reach plot, as we call it. There we plot the reach, which would say length of the frame versus the stack height of the frame, to characterize the frames. You see they're all pretty much together. It's just the Cannondale that has one with a really big stack, so if you have somebody who needs to sit up really upright, but they're pretty close. And a lot of sizes are also pretty close. So we see here that the wheeler is relatively long in the small sizes. You see the XS here has a reach 378. The Rosa has a reach 370, and our customer needs a relatively long, high frame, so the 59.5 come close, and that's what we see here in the table as well. That's it for the moment. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with us. Info@innovativecycling.com.